I bet you didn't know that an entire Roman legion, thousands of elite soldiers, vanished into thin air, leaving behind one of history's greatest mysteries. To this day, no one knows what really happened. Picture it: Roman soldiers standing in perfect lines, their breath visible in the icy morning air. Their red cloaks ripple in the wind, a sea of crimson against the wild British landscape. Their armor gleams under the rising sun, a symbol of Rome's might. This was the legendary 9th Legion, Legione Hispana, Rome's finest, feared and respected across the empire. They marched north into the untamed wilds of Britain, their mission to crush the fierce tribes that defied Rome. The people of the fort watched as the legion disappeared into the mist. The sound of their marching feet faded into silence. Over the green hills they vanished, swallowed by the fog, never to return. Not a single man came back. No one ever saw the 9th Legion again. It was as if they marched off the edge of the world itself. What could have happened to thousands of Rome's best? This is one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. The 9th was a powerful, battle-hardened force. They had triumphed in countless battles for Rome. For an entire legion to vanish without a trace was unthinkable. No messages, no warnings, nothing. No survivors ever returned to tell the tale. Rome waited for news that never came. The silence was deafening. Eventually, the 9th's name was erased from the records, like they never existed. Their disappearance left a gaping hole in Roman history, and a question that haunts us to this day. The legend begins around 117 AD. The Roman Empire was at its peak, vast and powerful, but the north of Britain was wild and dangerous. The local tribes, like the Picts, were fierce and unyielding. They refused to bow to Rome. The 9th was sent to crush the rebellion. Led by a confident general, they believed in their strength. Armed with the best weapons and training Rome could offer, they believed they were unstoppable. But this would be their final march. Their fate became a legend, a warning whispered to new recruits. Imagine being one of those soldiers, saying goodbye to your family, promising to return a hero, marching out with pride and hope, shoulder to shoulder with your brothers in arms, part of the mighty Roman Empire, feeling invincible. The journey was long and grueling, the weather cold and merciless, the land unfamiliar and full of hidden threats, until one day they faced an enemy they could not defeat. Or maybe something even stranger happened. The mystery endures because we can almost feel the chill of that final fateful day. We can almost hear the silence that followed their last battle cry. And if you're captivated by this unsolved mystery, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. To understand this mystery, we must first understand what a Roman legion was. A legion was not just a group of soldiers, it was like a small, moving city. A full legion had about 5,000 men. These men were professional soldiers. They signed up to serve in the army for 25 years. They were highly trained and very disciplined. They knew how to fight together as a single unit. They could build forts, bridges, and roads. They were the backbone of the Roman Empire's power. Each legion had its own number and name, like the 9th Hispania. It also had its own symbol, often an eagle, which was a sacred standard they protected with their lives. Each legion was divided into smaller groups. The largest group was a cohort, which had about 480 men. Cohorts were then split into centuries, led by a centurion. A centurion was an experienced officer who had risen through the ranks. These soldiers were equipped with the best gear of their time. They wore segmented iron armor called lorica segmentata. They carried a large rectangular shield called a scutum. Their main weapons were a short sword called a gladius and a throwing spear called a pilum. This combination of training, organization, and equipment made the Roman legion a formidable fighting force, one of the most successful in all of history. But a legion was more than just its soldiers. It also included engineers, doctors, and craftsmen. These support staff were essential. The engineers could build siege engines to attack enemy cities. The doctors could treat wounded soldiers on the battlefield. This made the Legion self-sufficient. They could operate for a long time far from home. When they stopped for the night, they would build a fortified camp. They dug a ditch and built a wall around their tents. This discipline and organization made them very difficult to surprise or defeat. Losing an entire legion was a huge blow to the Roman military. So, when the 9th Legion disappeared, it was a major disaster for Rome. It was like losing a modern aircraft carrier and all its crew. These were not just any men, they were some of the empire's finest. They had a long and proud history. The 9th had fought alongside Julius Caesar in Gaul. They had served in Spain, which is where they got their name, Hispana. For such a decorated and powerful unit to be wiped out was almost unthinkable. It showed that even the mighty Roman army was not invincible. It was a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked at the edges of their vast empire. So, what really happened to these 5,000 men? There are several popular theories. The most common one is that the legion was destroyed in a massive battle. The tribes of northern Britain, the Picts, were known for their ferocity. It is possible they ambushed the 9th Legion. Perhaps they used the difficult terrain to their advantage. They could have trapped the Romans in a narrow valley or a dense forest. In a brutal, bloody fight, the entire legion could have been wiped out. This theory is exciting and makes for a dramatic story. It paints a picture of a heroic last stand against overwhelming odds. Another theory is that the legion was not destroyed all at once. Instead, it may have suffered heavy losses in a series of smaller fights. After losing too many men, the legion might have been disbanded. The remaining soldiers would have been sent to join other legions. In this case, the legion didn't vanish in a single day. It slowly faded away. This is a less dramatic explanation, but it is quite possible. The Roman army did not like to admit defeat. It would have been easier to quietly remove the legion's name from the records than to announce its catastrophic destruction to the public. A third theory sends the legion far away from Britain. Some historians believe the 9th was not lost in Britain at all. They suggest the legion was transferred to another part of the empire. There is some evidence, though it is not very strong, that the legion might have been sent to the east. They could have been fighting in Judea or against the Parthian Empire in modern-day Iran. If they were destroyed in a battle there, it would explain why no trace of them was found in Britain. This theory changes the location of the mystery but keeps the core question alive. Where did they meet their end? Finally, there is the possibility that the soldiers did not all die. Some of them might have been captured, or perhaps some deserted the army and decided to live among the local people. Imagine a Roman soldier tired of war, choosing to start a new life. He might have married a local woman and raised a family. While this is unlikely for the entire legion, it's possible for some individuals. The truth is, we don't have enough evidence to be certain. Archaeologists have found some items belonging to the 9th in Britain, but nothing that tells us their final fate. The mystery remains unsolved. Why are we still so fascinated by this story almost 2,000 years later? The mystery of the Lost Legion has everything that makes a great tale. It has brave heroes, a dangerous mission, and a complete and baffling disappearance. It is a real-life puzzle from the ancient world. We love puzzles, especially ones we might never solve. The lack of a clear answer allows our imaginations to run wild. We can picture the final desperate battle in the misty highlands of Scotland. Or we can imagine the soldiers traveling to a distant, exotic land, facing new and unknown enemies. The story is a blank canvas. The legend has inspired many books, movies, and television shows. Writers and directors love the story because it offers so much creative freedom. They can invent their own endings for the 9th Legion. Some stories imagine them fighting supernatural monsters. Others tell tales of survival and adventure. These stories keep the legend alive in our modern culture. They introduce new generations to the world of ancient Rome. The mystery becomes more than just a historical question. It becomes a part of our shared collection of great stories, passed down through time. It connects us to the people who lived so long ago. Furthermore, the story touches on a deep human fear, the fear of the unknown. The idea of a powerful army simply vanishing is unsettling. It reminds us that no matter how strong or organized we are, there are still things we cannot control or understand. The world can be a mysterious place. The Ninth Legion walked into that mystery and never came out. For historians and archaeologists, the search for answers is a thrilling detective story. Every new Roman artifact found in northern Britain could be a clue. It could be the piece that finally solves the puzzle of what happened to the Legion. So the next time you look at a map of Great Britain, think of those Roman soldiers. Think of their long march into the north. What do you believe happened to them? Were they defeated in a single epic battle against the fierce tribes of Caledonia? Were they sent to a different part of the world to fight another war? Or did something else, something even more mysterious, happen to them in the cold, misty hills? The story of the Ninth Legion is our story now. It is a mystery that belongs to all of us, a timeless question waiting for an answer that may never come.